Hello everybody, welcome to our special edition of the Geneva Macro Labs online talk, A Sustainable Gig. My name is Renate Günther and I have the pleasure to be the Vice President and one of the co-founders of the Geneva Macro Labs, the think and do tank that brings leading minds together to help achieve sustainable development goals from Geneva. Today is the last webinar before the Christmas break and we are happy to celebrate that with you, with our partner ArtHub and our artists Liv and Erik. This will be recorded. Feel free to switch off your camera if you don't want to appear in the video and kindly mute yourself if you're not presenting. As you can see, we are starting off in a different technical environment today as we are having this live performance before we invite you to follow us into our usual conference environment where we have the chance to interact with ArtHub and with our artists. I have the pleasure now to introduce our first Liv Harper. Liv was born and raised in Aachen, Germany. She moved to Berlin where she had studied music and photography. From there, she traveled to participate in Christian contemporary music festivals, singing and giving workshops on creativity around the world. After winning the singer-songwriter contest in 2015 at the Artliners Berlin, she started concentrating on writing and performing her own songs on the guitar and the piano. Besides music, Liv has a passion for stand-up paddling that I share. We now hear two of her songs that she wrote. The first one is called Scoot, the second one, Still You Love Me. We are now switching live to Liv's apartment in Berlin. It might take a while until the signal arrives. Liv, you have the floor.
Strolling along the avenue, I wonder why didn't I say, didn't I ask, didn't I want to be what I had to? This is my life, you don't give me choices, you don't have to tell me. I am myself for the reasons that I know. Nobody can tell me this is how I have to be for you. So let me be, let me be, let me be, let me be. Scoot over, look at the world from my point of view. Scoot right over, let me tell you this is what I see. If nobody asked you, if nobody cares, why didn't you say This is what I want, this is what I need. Come, come and see. If nobody asked you, if nobody cares, why didn't you say? This is what I want, this is what I need. Come, come and see. Walking on ice, I've drowned before, so this is goodbye. Didn't you say, didn't you ask, didn't you promise me you'd be there? Snow-covered memories like shattered glass, you can't pick up the pieces. This is your choice, don't play helpless, don't keep up the show. Nobody can tell you this is how you have to be for me. So let me be, let me be, let me be, let me be. If nobody asked you, if nobody cares, why didn't you say? This is what I want, this is what I need. Come, come and see. If nobody asked you, if nobody cares, why didn't you say? This is what I want, this is what I need. Come, come and see. So let me be, let me be, let me be, let me be. Dankeschön. Es ist ganz schön, sowas mal zu machen hier. Ich bin ganz aufgeregt, dabei zu sein. Der nächste Song heißt Still You Love Me. zurück zu Renate.
Thank you so much, Liv. We'll now hear our second artist, Erik Brinkmann. Erik is originally from Sweden and started playing the piano when he was 6 years old, following the Suzuki method. You have the chance to ask Erik about it during the Q&A. Erik studied jazz and improvisation in Sweden and Norway before moving to France in 2006. Erik is now based in Geneva, Switzerland, and is working with many different musicians from all over the world, playing concerts regularly at jazz festivals and various venues around Europe. Erik also wrote the music for an awarded film and has been part of several film and media productions. Erik will play two of the songs he composed, Winter and I Wonder Where You Are. We now switch live to Erik's house in Geneva. It might take a while until the signal arrives. Enjoy.
Life is a dream, so it seems, and it won't last. And I walk through trees in the snow, making tracks. Winter comes and goes like the sun. By the times it seems to go on and on, falling to the trees, ice crystals find the breeze. And this was meant to chosen and as it lead, oh, did it choose me? I don't know. Darkness comes and goes like the sun. By the times it seems to go on and on, falling to the trees, crystals find the breeze. This was meant to be. And tall their hair long into the unknown. By the times we fly so high, it's like falling through the trees, ice crystals find the breeze. This was meant to be. Life is a moment in time, then it's over, and sometimes it's so hard to let go. Oh, and you know these things come and go like the sun. By the times it go on and on. Falling through the trees, ice crystals find the breeze, and this was meant to be. Thank you very much. The first song I played there, it's called Winter. And I'm going to play one more song for you, and it's called I Wonder Where You Are. Both of these songs are from my album called The Journey that I made a few years ago. And the first song, Winter, I thought it was quite suitable for the season we're in at the moment. And this second song, it's actually, I wrote it for my late father, who meant a lot to me, who inspired me a lot through his life, and it's a sort of dedication to him. Just reminds me of you. All the things you inspired me to do. You had so many plans ahead of you. And just reminds me of you. And I remember you were staring as if you were still here. And I wonder now, can you see me from where you are? Oh, oh. I wonder where you are. Oh, oh. If I could, I would ask you for some advice. I just wish I could see you again. I wonder where you are. And I remember you were staring as if you were still here. And I wonder now, can you see me from where you are? Oh, oh. There were some moments I know we had our fights and didn't get on. But that's just the way life goes. And take for granted those that are close. We had our moments I know, and that's in the past. I know it's time to move. What if you hadn't gone? Oh, oh. And we could meet and we could talk, and I could write you a song. Oh, oh. I could dream for as long as there is time. What if you hadn't gone? Oh, oh. And I remember you were staring as if you were still here. And I wonder now, can you see me from where you are? Oh, oh. Thank you very much.
Erik, fantastic. I now look forward to discussing with our artists and with you all. Please follow us and click the red button to enter the Zoom meeting room. See you all in a bit. Hello, everybody. I can see you, but I think you can't see me. My camera is causing problems.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having reconnected via this Zoom.
Hello, everyone.
Chat room. Hello. So thanks so much, Liv and Erik, for your great performance. We now have the chance to learn more about ArtHub and also about our artists. And I'm also happy to have a Q&A session that will be moderated by my colleague, Dr. Marianne Schörling, who is the head of our stakeholder engagement at the Geneva Macro Labs. So I have the pleasure now to start my little interview series with today's co-organizer and the co-founder of ArtHub, Francesco Mochi Sismondi. Francesco, can you just give me a sign that you're here? Wonderful. Let me intro you. So Francesco grew up in Roma in an international family, then moved to the UK where he studied economics and business before launching himself managing risks and transformational projects in large multinational banks. Over the past year, Francesco has been learning and experimenting innovative solutions to put his skills at work for a greater purpose. During the COVID pandemic, he launched the award-winning project ArtHub Live, which we just experienced. And it's actually a platform to support artists perform live events and monetize their art while spreading inspirational moments into people's homes. So far better than spreading the virus at live events currently. Francesco, would you like to tell us a little bit more about ArtHub Live, what it is, what its benefits are, say, compared to other streaming solutions available?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Renate. And first of all, thank you well, to you, Renate, and to the entire Geneva Macro Labs. It's the second time we're on your channel, so to speak, and a big thank you for everything you've done and the content you produced over the months. There's a lot. This is your last event, and we're honored to share the stage on your last event of the season. So what is ArtHub Live? You've introed it and captured it pretty well. We are a streaming platform. We were launched this year in the year of COVID to enable artists to perform live, connect with their audiences, so bring inspiration and content into people's homes. And whilst this may look like a COVID-specific solution, we believe this goes much further. We believe this will enable artists to work from home, as many other people do, even post-pandemic, and as an entirely carbon-free platform will be fit and proof for the bigger challenge we have ahead of us, which I don't think is COVID, but the climate change impact as well. What we do different to other platforms, I'm sure you will have all seen throughout the last few months, stuck at home, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, there's lots of content coming through, but very few help artists make a living. So we're here to activate monetization and revenue streams into artists' back pockets. We're here for interaction. So a session like this one will form a kind of backstage on every one of our events this far. We've enabled this feature so that Liv and Erik, in this particular case, can speak to their audiences and have an intimate moment, which typically is quite unusual in real events. And ultimately, this democratizes access to arts. It brings arts into people's homes, not only from a consumer perspective, but for artists themselves. Nothing should stop an artist to just, so long as they have a decent Wi-Fi connection, which isn't a given, but so long as that is the case, they can just plug and play and find an audience online. Why not?
Yeah. So you just mentioned it earlier, Francesco, you were already our guest some months ago. So what have you been up to over the past months since we last met here during our online talks?
The reality is we're a startup and we're experimenting. So there's plenty to do when you're sort of in the garage setting up shop. So we've been working on technology. Our team has changed. We've brought new resources into the team. I know you've been backstage in the sort of deep end with us, so you know what it looks like on the other side. But we've also tried professionalizing what we're standing for. So we've been part of, and we graduated from an incubator program in Switzerland. We participated in an accelerator program. And these sorts of ecosystems and innovation hubs help little startups like ours define exactly what the business model looks like, how to operate, how to launch, and quite frankly, put us in touch with partners, find connections, and we're still in that process. We've pitched to 50 plus companies over the last few months in all sorts of different ways to get attention, whether it's media, technology partners, booking, ticketing agents. There are all sorts of factors that need to be thought through, and we keep pushing.
So quite a lot of challenges you're facing within with setting up your platform. So what kind of support do you need to grow and make a greater impact in supporting artists?
The key need for us is technology automation. Again, you've been on the other side of the screen before we launched, and you know how clunky the technology still is to plug and play. We'd love for artists to just literally click on a button and play from home. It's a little more complex than that. So to scale the solution, we need technology. We have some of our own, but of course we need some savvy tech partners to help us scale up, render this more automated. That means we can reach out to more audiences, more artists, and get the sort of snowball effect going. And of course, as a startup, cash is king. Well, we need investment. We have, I actually forgot to mention that first, but we did over the course of the summer start a crowdfunding campaign that raised a little bit of cash, keeps the basics going, but of course we need to keep moving. To make this a reality, we have to keep funding and professionalizing. Quite frankly, we were born in a hackathon, so on an entirely pro bono basis of lots of different people that just stood to the sort of challenge. But to get this going, we're going to need to professionalize our services. That means hire people, pay them salaries, and build from there.
Yeah, that's understandable. So please feel free to post the questions already in the chat tool before I hand over to Marianne. I will now also ask some questions to our artists, but if you have some questions, some comments, please feel free to already post them in the chat. Liv and Erik, thank you so much for your great presentation. I really enjoyed the songs. I have some questions for you now. And I want to start with Liv, and then Erik, you might answer afterwards. So how did your life as an artist change over the last months? Liv, you want to go first? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, hello. It's great to see you. Well, it has actually two sides, because on the one hand, as I talk to many of my artist friends, life hasn't changed that much on the one hand, because, we're always in a little lockdown, kind of, because we're in our little world and in our heads, and we're reading and thinking, and, but it is weird, because you really, obviously not being able to, be on stage, as much as you would like to, that makes it harder, and that's different, of course. But yeah, to me personally, I always try to, focus on the good things that it brings with it, and so it's like, all right, can I make use of this time? How can I make use of this time for the best outcome? So yeah.
Erik, what's your experience?
First of all, do you hear me all right? Because I'm just testing.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, it's been it's been a quite mixed experience for me as well. It's just such weird times. I don't think anyone could have expected this to happen, even if you heard someone talk about this virus like a year ago, and that all events, all cinemas, all theaters, everything were just going to be on lockdown. It's just such a weird situation. Luckily, I'm working with some film music projects, and it was theoretically, in fact, it was a perfect time to have projects doing that. So I had a project in the first section of the virus with a Norwegian photographer. So I was making music for a sort of nature film about a national park in north of Norway. And then it was just excellent to sit at home and do teleworking. It didn't actually change anything. But now it's just, if it would have been just the first wave of the virus, then okay, a few months, but now it's just getting a bit too much, and I really miss playing in front of people and playing live music.
Yeah.
And it's clearly difficult to find, this is a great concept, and I think it's like Francesco said, it's a concept for the future. I think it will stay. It's a way to reach a bigger crowd, and it's a way of performing live that musicians probably didn't think of before, or not really. And I think even if you play live in front of a crowd, why not stream it so you can have people across the whole world listen to you? It's a great way to reach new fans, basically. So I love the concept. I think it's a great idea, and I don't think there is a lot of good platforms for it where you can buy a ticket as if you were going to a concert, that are well thought through and that are really adapted for live music. I've seen a lot of people do it on Facebook, on YouTube, but the quality is sometimes not great, and it's also not a way for the crowd to put money into it or buy a ticket. And yeah, I think it's a great concept.
Yeah. No, I can confirm I've been to concerts of both of you. Erik, actually my last birthday, you were one of my musicians playing, and Liv, I heard you in Berlin recently, so I think it must be a hard time. And Liv, you told me normally you would sit in a cafe and you would find inspiration, but now it's rather limited to go to the public spaces and watch people or let your mind flow. So how do you find inspiration under these conditions?
Well, Well, like you said, normally it's like, it's not necessarily only sitting in cafes, but just, there's a certain buzz that you can, be just open to. And then that is something that I think us as artists, most of all, more than anything else, we're probably observers. We kind of, and I think there's not too much to observe right now, except the obvious, which is, pretty crass. But so right now, to be totally honest, I'm actually really struggling with that, and I know that it's like I said, I've spoken to many of my artist friends too, because it is hard, because you have the time, and now you have all this pressure, because now I have to write new songs, I have to do this, and I have to, because I have the time. But it's hard, because it's really you have to, I think because we have to adjust to so much that we have to get used to so many things that takes up a lot of energy, actually. I do have days where I walk my dog for 1.5 hours in the morning, and after that I'm done. That's it for me. And so, but there are other days where I really take the time and to read, for example. I find it very inspirational to just whatever it is. It doesn't really matter if it's fiction or non-fiction, or a science book or whatever. I think reading itself is always, for me, a very good inspiration, and I should do it more. But yeah, that's one thing. And then I do have a lot of friends that usually aren't around, because they, like my 3 closest friends, they're scattered all over the world. And so I'm used to talking on Skype a lot, and they've kind of, because they are originally from Germany, they've kind of moved back here right now, all over the place, but in Germany. So I get to talk to them more, and that helps too, just talking, thinking together, and having little projects that we're working on. So yeah, it's like that, inspiration-wise.
I imagine, yeah. So Erik, how is that for you?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult to find inspiration in general, and I think, I don't know, I would have thought, having several months of not so many concerts, it'd be a perfect time to be creative and create lots of new music, create lots of projects. But I get just really, I don't know, disconnected, and I haven't done nearly as much as I was thinking I'd be a great time to do that. I just get actually less. I got less inspiration and less energy to do stuff when I have such an unplanned future. I mean, it's so difficult to know what's happening next week, next month, or next few days even. So I've been a lot less productive than I was hoping to be. I actually feel like if I have lots of stuff to do and lots of stuff in the agenda, I'm so much more productive, and I miss that so much. I have written some songs. So I'm just hoping to release some new songs very soon, but it's still in the process, and it's just taking some time. So I'm waiting for a guy who's making an animated video for the song, but he's been stuck because of COVID situation in US. So there's lots of delays on all sides. But at least I've been writing one song, and I was hoping to make more, but at least there's something. But it's very difficult to find inspiration. I find it very frustrating, the whole situation, to be honest.
Yeah, I imagine. I mean, sometimes it's good to see the glass also half full. So is there something good about this whole situation? Did you find, let's say, some opportunities over the last months? Liv?
Well, I guess one opportunity for me was the last concert that you went to, because it was at the zoo here in Berlin, which had it was open air, which was great. So all summer I could do 20 gigs in a row, which was wonderful. For me it was just totally in the routine, and that was great because it was open air, and usually that probably wouldn't have happened like that because they made some changes because of COVID too. That was one thing. And also I think this, getting to used to this online stuff, I think it's not only for the artists, because I think there are a lot of artists that don't have a problem with, you know, live streaming. For me, this is my first one because I was a bit hesitant because I always find it one to set, you know, you create an atmosphere with the people that are in the room. And of course there's an atmosphere going on here too, but you know, we all have our little atmospheres at our place. So, and that's something that is really, that I'm missing. But on the other hand, I think it would have taken much longer to get people, the listeners, used, or get people to being used to get them to the point where they're used to, you know, listening to concerts online. You know, now there wasn't another chance to do it, so people just went and did it. I mean, it would have taken, I think, not too much longer, but I guess probably 3 to 5 more years until that would have become more of a routine for people to, you know, go check online what, you know, what is there, what can I see, what live stream can I, you know, can I join? And that is something that we made a jump that was, I mean, tremendously faster than it would have been, I think. And so we had to go get used to it quickly, but especially for the people, I think they're just like, yeah. And like Francesco's approach of, you know, you can stream, like Erik said, you can stream actual concerts too. That is just perfect, you know, just to, in the end, maybe come out and have the combination of both, which is wonderful, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I see your point, and I still imagine this. I still remember this concert in the zoo. I had to pass several animals before I found you, but it was such a nice atmosphere. I really liked it. So, Erik, how is there also the glass half full for you? Are there some good points as well?
I just agree completely with Liv with this idea that it's a good way forward that probably would have come at some point anyway, because there's been so many changes in the music industry the last few years. There are no more albums anymore. There's hardly any point for an artist to actually produce a physical album these days because no one actually buys it. So everything is digital anyway. So why not have digital live music as well? So I think that's definitely something a positive thing that has brought forward me as well. I was very hesitant, and this is my first live stream concert as well. My wife kept telling me all through this pandemic that you should do some live streaming. Everybody's doing live streaming. And I was hesitant because I don't know, with the technology and not knowing what platform to use for it, because I wasn't sure how the quality would be in Facebook or YouTube. I know Facebook, for example, they really cut. When you put a video on Facebook, they cut the quality so much so not to make it slow down your computer and slow down internet. So the sound quality becomes so poorly. And for me, it's just such a shame. Already everyone listens to MP3 music and the quality of the sound is so much less than a vinyl record or a CD. At least the quality of the actual sound is so much better. So everything is just going to less and less quality and faster spreading. But it's definitely the way forward, but I think the technology has to also follow the people a bit, because it's a shame that the crowd don't get the same quality. Why it shouldn't be so difficult to create a better audio quality and also video quality. And I think this whole streaming thing, it's become for meetings, for everything. It's gonna push the technology forward to become better and better, so you can actually have a really good live experience also on a streaming point of view. And I think that's a great way forward for musicians, for artists, for the music industry.
Oh, thank you. That sounds good, and I agree. I want to hand over to my colleague Marianne now, who is now opening the Q&A, and I see there were already some questions in the chat. So Marianne, over to you.
Thank you, Renate. Yeah, there's already one question, and just a little housekeeping note. We tend to have like these sessions where we interact with each other. This is why we call it Q&A, but I would like to encourage all of us to make it really interactive today, since we are a smaller group than usual. As you know, we are approaching Christmas time and the end of the year, so many people are super busy, but we appreciate everyone who is now here with us tonight to as well acknowledge what all of us we have been going through this year, 2020. And one reason why we invited Erik and Liv and as well Francesco today is really to shed light as well to a sector, to the arts and creative sector that so often got forgotten when we talked about resilience, when we talk about new technology and its challenges and opportunities. So I thank all of you, Erik, Liv and Francesco, who for having already touched on some really important points. I would like to give the floor to Eckhard, who actually posted the first question, and then we'll take it from there. Eckhard, you have the floor if you want to address it yourself.
Thank you, Marianne, and thanks to both artists. I mean, excellent performance. Thanks also to Francesco for making this possible again. It was really a pleasure. I mean, as you said, we had the pleasure already to have you here with us before the summer break, and now again. And I mean, it's really always like it feels like it's a very novel experience to kind of have this type of online creative performances. And I mean, just to reassure you, Erik, I listened to you via the YouTube stream, and I can tell you the quality was excellent, at least on my computer. I mean, honestly, I loved both of your performances. It was really great to have you. Now, just to my question, and I mean, it's a really genuine question that I would like to have your answers, both of you, from, is that all the points that you raised in terms of how complicated it is to actually create the same type of emotions and sensations, etc., through this type of online platforms is also relevant for many other, I would not necessarily creative, but many other collaborative professions. I'm an economist by training, and I mean, usually I would travel around the world to go to conferences and seminars and exchange with colleagues, and obviously all of this is no longer possible right now. Nevertheless, I feel like I'm actually overwhelmed by the amount of work, because there's so much more that's going on. You want to follow so many different activities. So I mean, I feel like, I mean, I would like to go back to pre-COVID simply because I want to work less than I do now. But somehow, I mean, the question for me really is there a lesson that you can share, maybe with both of you can share with all of us, in terms of what should we take out of this experience? And hopefully we will go back to some kind of normality by summer next year. What is the lesson that we can take out of it? How should we adjust to these new technologies? Also in terms of how should we use these technologies maybe in a very different way than we have done over the last 6 to 9 months? And what are the positive elements that we definitely should try to carry forward once we get out of this complicated situation? And again, thank you very much. Great performance. I love to hear more from you in the future.
Thank you very much. Which one should I start, maybe? Or
go on, that's fine.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think, well, thanks so much for enjoying the music, first of all. I think for me, an obvious advantage is just purely environmental reasons, not to travel all over the world for all these meetings that are possible to do online, because it's actually working much better than probably most of us thought a year ago. The problem for me with performing live is, but I mean, it's the same with a meeting, everything, it's communication. And even if it's a concert, I feel like I'm communicating with the crowd. I look at the faces of the crowd, and their emotions inspire me to play a different way than I would have if they're not in the room. So it's very difficult to have the same source of inspiration from a camera staring at my face instead of a crowd of 50, 100 or 200 people. So that's very hard to simulate on a digital platform. But the huge advantage of covering such I mean, you could play for the whole globe at the same time. That's just amazing. To play for people in 5 continents at the same time, that's incredible. And I think the advantage with all the global warming and everything, for me, it's a topic for the future, and that's an obvious advantage with this way of communicating for the future, not necessarily with music related, but just something we should bring with us for the future. And thanks for the comment about the quality of the sound as well. I'm still working on the finesse of it, but thank you very much.
Yeah, also, thank you very much. As you said, well, what kind of stuck in my ear was the overwhelming bit, which I think is something that we all can relate to, right? And I think it is for me. I can't say I have a lesson, you know, for you guys, because but I find it important to just adjust to the overwhelmingness of it all in terms of putting some filters on, you know, and probably choose the times that I do certain things online with all the opportunities, if it is whether I, you know, because right now you can do pretty much anything online. And so for me, it's really, you know, just because you can just, you know, flow into, you know, I do this and after that I do that. And then all of a sudden I've spent like 12 hours on my phone or in my computer in a day. And it's, and even with work, you know, I have to work on my website. I have to, you know, I have to write to people, all the stuff you have to do, it's all online. And if it's work or if it's just pleasure, I think it is just about a consciousness of how you consume those things or deal with those things. And I think as soon as it's with me, it's most of the time it helps me if I have a consciousness for it, instead of just, you know, slittering into it, you know, and just, you know, letting it all happen. And I can do that, and then I do that, and then I do that, and then I go watch that artist. The other one is at the same time. I need to switch after 30 minutes. So I mean, all those things are possible right now. So, and I think for me, it's really just, you know, to be conscious about it and make choices and really listen to myself in, you know, just ask myself what is really important right now. Is it whatever is happening online right now, or might it be something, you know, might I just rather go in the woods, you know? So yeah, that's how I handle with it, because I do know that, you know, being overwhelmed by it all, because all of a sudden there's all this opportunity, you know. Yeah.
Thank you, Liv and Erik, and thank you, Eckhard, for your first question in the chat. What I find very interesting was one comment, Liv, that you made at the very beginning. You said, artists are observers. And I really like that comment, because when we think about what it means to observe, to look into our ecosystem and how things work, this is the basic of framing and shaping the future modes of communication. And when we talk about how, I mean, the theme for today, for tonight, for our online talk was about when art and technology meet for impact. Obviously, we were talking about positive impact and how it provides us with new opportunities. And what you have shared about observing what's happening in your ecosystem, and as well prioritizing. You talked about, Liv, about the filters that we need to apply. I think this is a principle that we can all make use of in the different spheres, not only in the arts and creative sector, but as well in our professional life. So I really appreciate your comment on that. What I would like to follow up with you, Erik and Steph, is your perspective on how this new way of these new avenues of music and live performances is shaping in the future. You mentioned both the importance of connecting with the people, Erik. You said that you're missing to see into the faces and then adjust the way you're performing to the need or to the atmosphere of the people. So is there any do you see any opportunities how you can still benefit from your audience, from your peers, while still taking advantage of the online platforms, like, for example, Art Hub and alike?
Well, I'm thinking maybe it would help, in my case anyway, to have a big screen and have more of a Zoom kind of concert. So I see some faces in front of me, and even if they're sitting in their living room, it doesn't matter. Then at least there's some sort of visual contact, but it's still different. But I think for me that would help a little bit. I don't know, it might be intimidating as well, because then it's really like you have the crowd a meter away from you and you really clearly see all the faces. Usually when you play a concert, you have really strong light in your face, so you just see some dark silhouettes in front of you and you can sort of feel the presence, but you don't have them with full-on light in their face. So I'm not sure how that would be. I need to try it, but that could be something. And then also I thought of these live music streams on I don't know, for Facebook, for example. Then people write comments during the performance, so then you have some sort of interaction through text messages instead of someone coming to talk to between the songs, for example. I don't know, it's a little different, but that's two ways to simulate it. But yeah, I'm not sure how to what's the way to try and adapt. And also of course each artist, each musician have their own preference as well, for whatever, however they're used to be playing and stuff.
Thank you, Erik. Liv, is there anything you would like to add?
Well, I totally agree with Erik. I mean, that's, I think if you are a musician as opposed to, I don't really know, because I'm a photographer as well, and I thought about that, but you do exhibitions and you have, contact with people there too, but in the moment where the actual performance as a musician is probably a bit different. And so, yes, that's something that is, that's the moment, where you connect with people over an expression, and that's beautiful. Whatever it's magic. That whatever happens in the room. But I think if we manage to shift that magic, somehow into this here right now, the question and answering bit is just wonderful. Whenever Francesco told me about this, he said, well, you could when you do an art type, you play like probably 30 minutes, and then we have 30 minutes just people talking to you. And I think that's wonderful. Yes, you do your music, but also not too often, there's not too often at a concert where that many people are at the same time they can talk to each other. You have one after another coming to you, saying a few words if they dare to. Sometimes they don't, although they would like to, So, and this is just like, you're all here and we can actually connect on this. This is a totally new ground. And I actually quite like that, because it's not only that, you guys get to know me, but through your questions, I get to know you too. So that's like, there's something happening that's probably even a bit deeper than, me just singing to you, So yeah, that would be.
Thank you, Liv. Thank you. What's happening now is that we have the chance to listen to 2 additional videos from you, Erik and Liv. So I am very happy that we had the chance to interact with you now in this group. It's a little part of our community. The community is much greater, and I hope that many will be listening to that recording and watching you and following you. I can say in the name of the whole team that we really enjoyed your performance, the quality of it, and as well all the technical setup that was provided in the back from Francesco and his team. So thank you all so much, and we wish you all the best for your future endeavors for 2021, so that you're able to transform your observations in many different creative expressions, and that you are contributing to shaping impact with your art, with your creativity, and your reflections. So thank you so much, and I'm handing over to Renate.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marianne, and everybody. So we have now 2 videos to end this session, and the first is from a song from Liv, which is called Right in This Moment. And the second one is a trailer of Dreamline, where Erik Brinkmann composed and produced the music. The link in order to access these videos will be posted in the chat. I think, Jörn, are you doing that, or somebody is posting the link? Please click on the link and then you will access a room where you can see the videos. Thank you. See you in a bit.
See
Have
you
a
there.
good,
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
You're running around like crazy again, replacing your heel with fun. The band at your wrist is counting your steps, constantly beating your best. Your worst nightmare is to miss out while you forget what it's all about. Can you take a step back to look at the bigger picture? Can you take a step back? Then dive in. I'm right in this moment. Can you be here with me? With me. Please be. Every switch is turned on reception without any real life connection. Always on the lookout, always on the shore, not leaving a chance to be bored. Nose in the air for the opportunity, living the agony of possibility. Can you take a step back to look at the bigger picture? Can you take a step back? Then dive in. I'm right in this moment. Can you be here with me? With me. What is it worth if you never feel alright? What is it worth if you can't trust in life? What is it worth if you never feel like you're getting somewhere? Somewhere bright. Can you take a step back to look at the bigger picture? Can you take a step back? Then dive in. I'm right in this moment. Can you be here with me? With me. Please be.
You know, he's just this classic, you know, colorful individual from our world.
He'll ski with anyone, anywhere, anytime, anyone that's motivated. He's probably one of the most motivated skiers I've ever met in my life.
This is the story of how both of my dream worlds, my passionate desires and nocturnal voyages, intermingled to manifest into my present-day physical reality, what some would call living the dream.
He's a family man. I guess it's the most important thing for him. It goes beyond.
Yeah, I miss him a lot.
And if you are strong enough to not listen to others and to go your way, you will always be on your dream line.
It was a dream that was going to change my life. We are all dreaming this world together. Imagine if everybody woke up in their dreams